What happens when the one they called invisible becomes impossible to look away from? For Mira Shadowbrook, life had been an endless comparison she could never win. Born in Omega with a twin sister who was everything she wasn't, Mira had grown up in Celeste's shadow. Her sister was beautiful, golden hair that caught the light, porcelain skin that never blemished, delicate features that made wolves stop and stare. Mira was plain by comparison, they said, darker hair that never quite shone, features that were too strong, too angular, unremarkable. Their parents had made the difference clear from birth. Celeste was the pretty one, the special one, the daughter who would make an advantageous match. Mira was the spare, the backup, the one who should be grateful for whatever scraps of attention came her way. The scent of lavender and morning dew and wildflowers that clung to Mira was pleasant enough, but it couldn't compete with Celeste's rose and honey perfection. At 24, Mira had watched her sister receive marriage proposals from alphas and betas, while she received nothing but dismissive glances. She'd made peace with being invisible. But when her fated mate Damien Ashcroft stood at the bonding ceremony and chose Celeste instead, marking her sister right in front of her even as the mate bond screamed between him and Mira, everything changes. And what happens next? No one was prepared for. The bonding ceremony was the most anticipated event of the year for the Starfall Pack. It was when unmated wolves gathered to see if the moon goddess had chosen any mates, when bonds were revealed and formal markings took place. Mira had attended every year since she turned 18, standing in the back watching others find their happiness while she remained alone. This year felt different. She couldn't explain why, but something in her chest had been pulling, aching, calling to something she couldn't name. Her wolf, that distant, quiet presence, had been restless for weeks. Their parents, Roland and Thea, had spent days preparing Celeste for the ceremony. A new dress of silver silk, professional styling for her golden hair, makeup that enhanced her already perfect features. Mira had been given her sister's hand-me-down dress from 2 years ago, pale blue and slightly too large. "You understand, don't you, Mira?" her mother had said. "Celeste needs to make an impression. This might be her chance at a high-ranking mate." "I understand," Mira had replied, because she always did. She always understood that she came second. The ceremony was held in the pack's great hall, decorated with silver and white, the colors of the moon goddess. Hundreds of wolves filled the space, their combined scents and energy making the air thick with anticipation. The moment Damien Ashcroft entered the hall, Mira felt it. The pull, the recognition, the undeniable certainty that crashed through her like a tidal wave. He was magnificent, 6 feet 3 inches of lean muscle, wrapped in expensive gray suit. His scent hit her like a physical force. Dark forest and dying embers and ozone and cold steel, the smell of power and ambition and hunger. At 28, he was the beta heir to the neighboring Iron Peak pack, wealthy and influential, exactly the kind of match Celeste had been dreaming of. The bond snapped into place the moment his eyes swept across the crowd. Golden light blazed between them. Mira felt it, saw it, was overwhelmed by it. She gasped, her hand flying to her chest as the mystical connection wrapped around her heart and claimed her. But Damien's eyes didn't stay on her. They moved, traveled, and landed on Celeste. Her sister stood near the front, radiant in her silver dress, golden hair cascading down her back. She was smiling, her beauty ethereal in the ceremonial lights. Mira watched in growing horror as Damien's expression shifted from shock to calculation. She could see him weighing options, making a choice that had nothing to do with destiny and everything to do with ambition. Time stopped. Damien crossed the room, not toward Mira, but toward Celeste. The bond between him and Mira stretched, pulled, screamed in protest. Pain lanced through Mira's chest as he fought against the connection, forcing himself to ignore it. "Celeste Shadowbrook," Damien said, his voice carrying across the sudden silence. "I have waited a long time to meet you." Celeste's face lit up with delight. "Beta Ashcroft, what an honor." Mira wanted to scream, to run forward, to claim what was hers, but her wolf was too distant, too quiet, too suppressed to help her speak up. "I would like to court you," Damien continued, "with your parents' permission, of course." "Yes," Celeste said immediately. "Oh yes, I would love that." Their parents practically glowed with pride. "We would be honored, Beta Ashcroft," Roland said. No one mentioned Mira. No one looked at her. No one acknowledged the golden light still faintly pulsing between her and Damien, visible to anyone who bothered to look. "Wait," Mira finally managed to say, her voice weak and trembling. "The bond." "What bond?" Damien's eyes finally found her, and they were cold as winter frost. "I feel nothing for you, Mira Shadowbrook. Whatever you think you sense is mistaken." "That's not true," Mira said, tears burning her eyes. "I feel it. I know you feel it too. The moon goddess understands that some mistakes must be corrected." Damien's voice was harsh. "I have no interest in an unremarkable Omega when your sister stands right here. Celeste is everything a Beta heir needs in a mate, beautiful, accomplished, perfect. But the bond, I reject it." Damien's words fell like stones. "I, Damien Ashcroft, Beta heir of the Iron Peak Pack, reject you, Mira Shadowbrook, as my fated mate. I sever this bond in the sight of the moon goddess and the assembled pack. I choose your sister instead." The rejection was instant and brutal. The golden bond between them didn't just break, it shattered, exploding into shards of light and agony. Mira screamed, dropping to her knees as the mystical connection was violently severed. It felt like her heart was being carved out with a rusty blade, like every nerve in her body was on fire. And then Damien did something unforgivable. He turned to Celeste, tilted her chin up, and bit down on her throat, marking her right there, in front of everyone, while Mira writhed in pain on the floor from the rejection. Celeste gasped in pleasure as the mark took hold, as Damien's claim settled over her like a second skin. Their mother actually clapped with delight. "Guards!" someone called. Mira couldn't see who through her tears and pain. "Remove her. She's disturbing the ceremony." Hands grabbed Mira, pack warriors who'd known her since childhood, but showed no mercy now. They hauled her to her feet even though her legs wouldn't support her weight. "Please," Mira sobbed, looking at her parents. "Help me." Her mother wouldn't meet her eyes. Her father's face was red with embarrassment. "You're making a scene, Mira. Just go. Accept what's happened." "She'll stay with family in the north," someone decided. "The Ravenclaw pack. They'll take her." But as the guards dragged Mira from the hall, she heard whispers of different plans, darker plans, words like "unfortunate accident" and "can't risk her interfering" and "what Celeste wants." They took her north, as promised, but not to any family. They took her to the edge of pack territory and threw her into the Shattered Lands, a maze of jagged rock formations and treacherous canyons where the ground was unstable and wolves regularly fell to their deaths. "Nothing personal," one of the guards said. He sounded almost apologetic. "But the Beta heir wants his chosen mate to feel secure, and you're a complication." Then they were gone, and Mira was alone in hell. The Shattered Lands lived up to their name. The ground was cracked and broken, liable to give way without warning. Sharp rock spires jutted up like teeth, and the wind howled through the canyons like a living thing. It was nearly impossible to navigate in daylight. At night, it was a death trap. Mira stumbled forward because staying still meant dying faster. The bond wound in her chest throbbed with every heartbeat. Every few steps she'd see flashes of what Damien was feeling through the severed connection. Contentment, satisfaction, Celeste's scent on his skin. Her sister, her own twin. Had Celeste known about the bond? Had she cared? Probably not, Mira thought bitterly. She's never cared about me. Her wolf, that distant presence, suddenly stirred with rage. They made us feel worthless, made us believe we were less than. But that was never true. "What are you talking about?" Mira whispered. Her wolf didn't answer. Not yet. Night fell and the temperature plummeted. Mira found minimal shelter in a small alcove between two rock spires, but it offered little protection from the cold wind. She huddled there, shaking, wondering if this was how her story ended, alone, frozen, discarded like she'd always been. "This is it," she thought distantly. "I'm going to die here, and no one will even care." "Yes, they will," her wolf said with sudden fierce strength, "because we are not what they said we were. We were never less than. We were just locked away." "I don't understand." But darkness was pulling at her, hypothermia setting in with vicious speed. Mira's eyes closed and she knew nothing more. Warmth. That was the first thing Mira registered as consciousness slowly returned. Warmth and the sound of breathing that wasn't her own. She forced her eyes open and couldn't immediately process what she was seeing. Wolves. Massive wolves, each one easily 3 times the size of the largest alpha she'd ever encountered, surrounded her in a protective circle. Their body heat had created a sanctuary against the shattered land's brutal cold. Mira counted them through her dazed confusion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 enormous wolves with fur in every shade imaginable. Their eyes glowed with supernatural light when they looked at her. Gold and silver and emerald and sapphire, colors that defied nature. The largest wolf, the one directly in front of her, had fur like storm clouds, silver and gray mixed together. His eyes were piercing ice blue, ancient and infinitely knowing. His scent of aged oak and winter snow and pine and approaching storms filled the alcove. "We've been waiting for you," a voice said directly into her mind, deep and resonant and patient as mountains. "Who are you?" Mira whispered. The wolf shifted with elegant grace. One moment, massive wolf. The next, man. He was perhaps 50, with silver-streaked dark hair and a closely trimmed beard. Scars covered every visible inch of him, his face, bare chest, arms. Despite the freezing temperature, he seemed unbothered. "My name is Rydian Stormcaller," he said, his voice matching the one from her mind. "I lead the Lightkeepers, the 10 guardians sworn by ancient oath to protect and serve the Luminary." His ice-blue eyes held hers with gentle certainty. "We serve you." "You have the wrong person." Mira tried to sit up and nearly blacked out. "I'm nobody, just the plain sister no one wanted. You are the Luminary. The one who brings light to darkness, who sees truth beneath illusions, who radiates power so bright it cannot be dimmed, only suppressed." Rydian settled onto the cold stone as if it were comfortable. Immediately, one of the other wolves, a beautiful female with pure white fur, shifted and draped a warm cloak over his shoulders, then wrapped a second around Mira. The female was striking, with platinum hair and eyes like molten gold. "I'm Arya," she said gently, her scent of honey and starlight comforting. "And before you protest, please listen. Your life depends on understanding what you are." "You are the Luminary," Rydian continued. "Born with the power to illuminate truth, to burn away deception, to shine so brightly that no shadow can stand against you. But that power terrified your parents. They feared what you would become, what you might reveal." Mira's heart pounded. "What do you mean?" "Your twin sister is not your twin," Rydian said gently. "Celeste was born 2 months after you. She was presented as your twin to hide the truth, that you are the elder daughter, the rightful heir to your pack's bloodline. But your parents didn't want you as their heir. They wanted Celeste, who was easier to control, more conventionally beautiful, more malleable." The world tilted. "That's not possible." "It is, and to ensure you never claimed your birthright, they bound your power when you were still an infant. They used magic to suppress your light, to make you seem ordinary, to ensure Celeste would always outshine you." Rydian's expression hardened. "They spent 24 years making you believe you were less than, when in truth you were the most powerful wolf in your pack." "The binding magic was tied to self-perception and pack bonds," added another wolf who'd shifted, a lean man with bronze skin and eyes that glowed like embers. "I'm Theron. And when Damien rejected you so publicly, so cruelly, it shattered something in your self-image. The binding couldn't hold against that kind of pain, that kind of absolute rejection of who you thought you were." "Your power is breaking free," Arya said softly. "Your wolf is waking. Soon you'll see yourself as you truly are, not the plain sister, not the invisible one, but the Luminary, the one who shines brighter than any star." As if her words were a catalyst, Mira felt it. Deep inside her chest, walls were crumbling. Power was rising like sunrise, vast and warm and utterly hers. Her wolf stirred within. "Hello, Mira," the voice said, clear and strong and filled with fierce pride. "I am your wolf, your light, your truth, and together we are the Luminary. No more shadows, no more comparisons, no more being told we are less than when we are more than they can even comprehend." Tears streamed down Mira's face. "I can hear you. After all these years, I can finally hear you clearly." "Your power is waking," Ridian said. Soon you'll be able to do more than just illuminate truth. You'll be able to purify corruption, heal spiritual wounds, burn away anything that seeks to deceive or manipulate. You are the antidote to every shadow, every lie, every false face. And then the shift began. Not gently, but not painfully either. Her body knew what to do, had always known, just been prevented from doing it. Her bones didn't break. They flowed, reshaping themselves with liquid grace. A wave of power washed over her, so intense it made her skin glow from within. Literally glow, radiant light pulsing from her in waves. Fur emerged, not growing but unfurling, rich auburn that seemed to contain fire, shifting between copper and gold and bronze depending on how the light hit it. Silver markings traced patterns through her coat that looked like starlight, given form. She grew. Larger than Ridian, larger than any alpha, massive and powerful and radiant as a sunrise. When the transformation completed, Mira stood on 4 legs for the first time. She was enormous, shoulders reaching a grown man's chest, paws the size of dinner plates. But more than her size, it was her light. Energy pulsed from her in visible waves, brilliant gold and silver radiance that banished every shadow, that made the dark alcove bright as day, that felt like warmth and truth and absolute clarity. Her eyes, she could see a reflection in a puddle of melted ice, glowed with brilliant golden light, the color of sunrise and revelation and undeniable truth. This is who we are, her wolf purred with deep satisfaction. The luminary. We bring light. We reveal truth. We shine so bright that no one can look away. Mira threw back her head and howled. The sound rolled across the shattered lands like dawn, breaking after the longest night, and where it touched, the darkness fled. The treacherous ground stabilized, the jagged rocks smoothed, the death trap transformed into holy ground. The Lightkeepers shifted to their wolf forms and joined the howl, 10 massive voices harmonizing with hers in a declaration that the luminary had risen. When the echoes faded, Ridian shifted back to human form and knelt on ground that was no longer shattered. She is the luminary, he said with reverence. She is awakened. The days and weeks that followed were transformative. The Lightkeepers had established a sanctuary in what had been the heart of the Shattered Lands, but was now rapidly becoming sacred ground. Mira's very presence healed the corruption, purified the darkness, made everything shine. This is the Luminary Sanctuary, Ridian explained, built by the last luminary centuries ago, abandoned when she died. It's been waiting for you to reclaim it. Learning to control her light was the first challenge. Now that the suppression was broken, Mira radiated truth constantly. Every lie, every deception, every false face became obvious in her presence. You need to learn to direct it, Theron explained patiently during one session where Mira's light was so bright everyone had to squint. Your power shows truth, yes, but you can't force people to see it. You can only offer clarity and let them choose what to do with it. How do I know what truth to reveal? Trust your instinct. Your wolf knows what needs to be illuminated. Theron's smile was kind. You've spent your whole life being told you were less than. Now you need to learn to trust that you are more than enough. Slowly, carefully, Mira learned to modulate her light, to reveal gently rather than overwhelming, to offer truth without forcing it, to shine without blinding. The rest of the Lightkeepers were remarkable. Arya, gentle and nurturing, who taught Mira that being powerful didn't mean being harsh. Theron, the strategist, brilliant and quick, who helped Mira understand pack politics and how to navigate them from a position of strength. Gavin, built like a mountain with a booming laugh that shook the ground. He taught Mira that true strength was knowing when not to fight. Soren and Lyanna, twin siblings, one with hair like midnight and one like noon. Soren smelled of smoke and shadow, Lyanna of light and flowers. They taught Mira that even twins could be completely different and both be valuable. Caspian, wild and fierce, with scars that told stories of survival. His scent of lightning and ozone matched his unpredictable energy. Elias, the scholar, with gray eyes that missed nothing. His scent of old parchment and cedar was comforting, and he taught Mira the history of the luminaries who'd come before. Rowena, the healer, whose touch could ease pain and speed recovery, Her scent of lavender and sage made everyone feel safe. And Zephyr, the youngest at only 60, with a mischievous smile and the ability to find humor in even the darkest situations. They became Mira's family, her true pack, not through blood or shared lies, but through genuine love and respect. But it was Rydian who became something more. It happened naturally, the way his steady presence grounded her when her light threatened to overwhelm, the way his scent would deepen when she entered a room, the way he looked at her, not as the plain sister or the invisible one, but as the most radiant being he'd ever encountered. One evening, after Mira had successfully helped resolve a dispute between two feuding packs by revealing the misunderstandings beneath their conflict, Rydian asked her to walk with him. They climbed to a high point where her healed land spread out below like a promise. "You're ready?" he said quietly. "Your control is solid, your power is fully realized. If you wanted, you could step into your role tomorrow." "But," Mira prompted, "but you don't have to do it alone." He turned to face her, ice-blue eyes serious. "I'm 50 years old, Mira. I've lived a long time, seen many things, waited decades for the luminary to rise, but I never expected to feel about her the way I feel about you." Mira's breath caught. "I know you've been hurt. I know Damien's betrayal wounded you deeply, and I know you spent your whole life being told you weren't enough, being compared to your sister and found wanting. But I see you, Mira. I see your light, your truth, your incredible radiance. And I want you to know, when you're ready, if you're ready, I would be honored to court you, to stand beside you not as your guardian, but as your partner." This wasn't a fated bond imposed by the goddess. This was choice. Pure, beautiful choice. "Yes," Mira whispered, "I'd like that very much." His smile was like dawn breaking over mountains. They built their relationship slowly, carefully. Rydian courted her with patience and genuine affection, showing her through word and deed that she was valued, treasured, desired for exactly who she was. No comparisons, no expectations that she be anything other than herself. And when they finally kissed, standing under stars that seemed to shine brighter in her presence, it felt like coming home. But peace never lasted in the world of wolves. It started with Caspian's warning. He'd been scouting when he caught familiar scents, Starfall pack wolves, accompanied by Iron Peak pack guards. "They're mobilizing," he reported, face grim. "I counted at least 25 wolves, maybe more, all trained fighters, and both Damien and your sister are leading them." "They know I'm alive," Mira said, not a question. More than that. Gavin had been on the same patrol. "They know the Shattered Lands are healed. They know something powerful is happening here, and they're afraid of what it means." "I'm living proof that everything they built on is a lie," Mira said quietly. "That Damien chose wrong. That Celeste isn't the special one. That I was never less than... I was suppressed. You're proof that their entire hierarchy is based on deception," Rydian said, his voice cold with fury. "That beauty and power have nothing to do with each other. That the one they dismissed is actually the most powerful wolf any of them will ever meet." "Celeste is with them," Arya added. "She's marked and fully mated to Damien now. The sister who'd taken Mira's fated mate. Of course she'd come." "We can fight them," Mira started to say. "No," Rydian interrupted. "We show them the truth. We let your light reveal what they've been hiding. We let them see what they rejected." They chose the battlefield according to Mira's instincts, a wide clearing at the edge of the healed, shattered lands, where the contrast between darkness and light was stark. And they waited. The war party arrived at sunset, 25 wolves in perfect formation. They shifted to human form as they approached, and Mira had to admit they were impressive. Trained warriors all, confident and deadly. Damien stood at the center, as handsome and cold as she remembered. Celeste flanked him, her beauty perfect as always, Damien's mark visible on her throat. The scent of cinnamon and iron and fresh blood rolled off Celeste in waves, sharper, crueler than Mira remembered. "Mira Shadowbrook!" Damien called across the clearing. His voice was controlled, but his scent betrayed unease, steel and ozone sharp with what might have been guilt. "You were cast out. You should have died. Yet here you are, somehow alive. And you've changed the Shattered Lands." "I healed them," Mira called back, her voice steady and clear. because that's what a luminary does. We bring light, we heal corruption, we reveal truth." "Enough with the delusions," Celeste snarled, stepping forward. "You're still the plain sister, Mira? Still the one no one wanted? Damien chose me, remember? I'm the pretty one. I'm the special one. You're nothing but a reject who got lucky." "Am I?" Mira felt her power rise, felt the light within her responding to the lies and deception. "Or have you been living a lie your entire life, sister?" "Don't call me that with such familiarity." "Why not? We're not even twins after all." Mira let her words hang in the air. "Celeste was born 2 months after me. Our parents lied about our ages, presented us as twins to hide the fact that I'm the elder daughter, the rightful heir, the one they didn't want." The clearing went silent. Damien's eyes narrowed. "That's ridiculous. Your parents would never, wouldn't they?" Mira's eyes began to glow golden. "Let me show you the truth." She let her power flare, let her light wash over everyone present. It didn't hurt, didn't harm, but it revealed. Every lie, every deception, every false face became obvious under her radiance. And suddenly, everyone could see it. The age difference between Mira and Celeste that had been magically masked, the bound power that had kept Mira suppressed, the deliberate cultivation of Celeste's beauty through minor magics and constant enhancement. All of it laid bare under the luminary's light. "No," Celeste whispered, her perfect facade cracking. "No, that's not." But even she could see it now, could see that her beauty had been artificially enhanced since birth, that she'd been given every advantage while Mira had been suppressed. Damien stared at Mira with growing horror. You were the powerful one all along, and I rejected you for a lie," Mira finished. "You chose beauty over truth, surface over substance, the illusion of perfection over the reality of power." Before anyone could respond, a roar split the air, so loud, so powerful, so filled with absolute authority that every wolf present, including Mira, felt their knees weaken with the urge to submit. A massive wolf emerged from the tree line. No, not just massive, colossal, larger even than the Lightkeepers, with fur like midnight and eyes that burned with silver fire. His scent rolled over everyone like a tidal wave. Ancient power, absolute dominance, something so old and strong it made even alphas feel like pups. The wolf shifted, and the man who emerged was breathtaking, towering, scarred, radiating such intense power that the air itself seemed to bend around him, his eyes, silver and burning, fixed on Mira with absolute intensity. "Mine," he roared, his voice shaking the very ground. "She is mine." Damien actually stepped back. "Alpha King Xander." Silence. The command from Alpha King Xander Nightborn was absolute. He crossed the clearing in long strides, wolves scrambling out of his path, and stopped directly in front of Mira. "How did I not know? How did I not sense you?" "I was bound," Mira said, her light pulsing in response to his power. "Suppressed, hidden." "No more." Xander's hand cupped her face with surprising gentleness. "I have searched for decades for the luminary. I am the guardian of her line, bound by ancient oath to protect and serve her. And here you are, hidden away, suppressed by those who should have celebrated you." He turned to face Damien and Celeste, and his rage was palpable. "You, Beta Heir, you rejected your fated mate, the luminary herself, for a woman whose beauty was built on lies and enhancement magic?" "I didn't know," Damien started. "You didn't care to know. You saw only surface, only status, only what served your ambition." Xander's voice could have cut steel. "You made a mistake. You didn't just reject a plain Omega. You rejected the luminary, bound by ancient oath to my line, under my protection. You rejected my mate." The clearing erupted in shocked gasps. "The Alpha King's mate? The luminary is bound to the Nightborn line." "We didn't know." But Celeste wasn't finished. She shifted mid-leap, her copper wolf hurtling toward Mira with claws extended and fangs bared, hatred and jealousy driving her to attack. Mira met her with effortless grace. Her shift was instantaneous, her massive radiant wolf form intercepting Celeste with a single sweep of her enormous paw. Celeste flew backward, crashing to the ground with a yelp of shock. She tried to rise, but Mira's light intensified, and suddenly everyone could see exactly what Celeste was. every enhancement, every artificial improvement, every lie that made up her beauty. Without the magic, Celeste was ordinary. Not ugly, but not the breathtaking beauty she'd always claimed to be. "Stay down," Mira commanded, and the word carried the weight of absolute truth. "Or I will reveal every lie you've ever told, every manipulation you've ever used, every cruel thing you've done in pursuit of being the pretty one." Celeste went utterly still, suddenly terrified of what else might be revealed. The clearing had gone silent. "Impossible," someone whispered, but Mira wasn't finished. She threw back her head and howled, not a call for help, but a summons. And the Lightkeepers answered. 10 massive wolves emerged from the forest, and the war party collectively stepped back. These weren't just large wolves. These were dire wolves from ancient legends, guardians of light, each one radiating power that made alphas feel small. Rydian's wolf form was enormous, his storm-gray fur crackling with silver light. Gavin was a mountain of golden muscle. The twins moved like synchronized day and night. Caspian's scarred wolf seemed to crackle with actual lightning. "The Lightkeepers," one of the advisors breathed. "Guardians of the Luminary, they're real." "They're mine," Mira said, shifting back to human form as Arya brought her a cloak. "And I am theirs, because I am the Luminary, the one you called plain, invisible, less than. The one you suppressed and hid and tried to erase." She let her light pulse, and everyone present felt it, the warmth, the truth, the undeniable radiance. Damien fell to his knees. "I didn't know. If I had known, you wouldn't have." "Cared," Mira cut him off. "You wanted beauty and status. You got it. Congratulations. You're mated to a woman whose entire existence is built on lies and enhancement magic. Enjoy your choice." She turned to her parents, who'd been watching in growing horror from the back of the group. You bound my power. You hid my birthright. You made me believe I was less than for 24 years. Her father couldn't meet her eyes. Her mother was weeping. "We were afraid," her mother whispered. "The prophecy said the Luminary would shine so bright she'd blind those who looked at her. We thought if we kept you small, kept you hidden, you'd be safe." "You thought if you kept me small, Celeste would be the special one," Mira corrected. "You wanted her to be the heir, the beauty, the perfect daughter. And I was just in the way." She let her light wash over them, and suddenly everyone could see the truth of it. The deliberate suppression, the constant comparisons, the way they'd built Celeste up while tearing Mira down. "You're stripped of your alpha succession rights," Mira declared to her father. "Celeste's claim to being heir is void. She was never the elder daughter." "And your beta heir status is revoked," she said to Damien. "You rejected the Luminary. You chose deception over truth. You made an enemy of the Alpha King himself." She paused, then added, "But I'm not interested in vengeance. I'm interested in truth. These territories are now under my light. Any wolf who lives in deception, who builds their worth on lies, who suppresses another to make themselves seem greater, they will be revealed. No more hiding, no more false faces, only truth." Alpha King Xander stepped forward, his presence enormous and commanding. "And I, Xander Nightborn, Alpha King of the 5 Kingdoms, formally claim Mira Shadowbrook, the Luminary, as my chosen mate, not fated by the goddess but chosen by my own will, as is my right as guardian of her bloodline." He looked at Damien with cold satisfaction. "You rejected her. I claim her. And everyone will know that the one you called plain is actually the most radiant being to walk this earth in centuries." Mira felt her heart swell. Not because she needed validation from an Alpha King, but because someone, this powerful ancient wolf, chose her, saw her, valued her for exactly what she was. "Celeste," Mira said, turning to her sister, "you mocked me. You took my mate. You've spent our entire lives trying to prove you were better than me." Celeste's face was a mask of shame and resentment. "You're stripped of your enhanced beauty. You'll live as you truly are. No magic, no enhancement, just yourself. And you'll serve as an Omega in a territory far from here for 7 years, learning what it means to be dismissed, overlooked, called ordinary. If you show genuine growth, genuine remorse, we can discuss your future." Celeste's eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. "As you command, Luminary." They watched as the war party, retreated, 25 wolves who'd come for a reckoning, leaving with truths that would reshape everything. When they were gone, Xander turned to Mira. "I meant what I said. I claim you, if you'll have me." Mira looked at Rydian, who was watching with understanding in his eyes. "The Alpha King's claim is ancient law," Rydian said gently, "but it's still your choice." "What about us?" Mira asked him quietly. "I will always be here," Rydian said. "Guardian, friend, whatever you need. Your happiness matters more than my desires." Xander's expression softened. "I don't offer a mate bond built on nothing, Luminary. I offer partnership, power shared, not hoarded. And if your heart belongs to another, I will honor that. My claim is one of protection and alliance, not possession." Mira felt her power pulse, felt her light revealing the truth of his words. He meant it. This wasn't about control, it was about standing beside her. "Give me time," she said, "to understand what I want, who I am, what my light means." "Take all the time you need," Xander said. "I've waited decades. I can wait longer." In the months that followed, Mira's sanctuary grew exponentially. Word spread that the Luminary had risen, and wolves who'd been living in deception, hiding their true selves, suppressing their power to fit in. They all came seeking her light, seeking truth. She built a community where authenticity was valued over appearance, where truth mattered more than status, where no one was ever called plain or less than or invisible. Xander visited often, courting her with a patience that surprised everyone. Rydian remained by her side, steady and supportive. And Mira discovered that she didn't have to choose between them. She could be loved by both, in different ways, and that was okay. When she finally completed a chosen mate bond with Xander under the full moon, the mark that appeared over both their hearts, a blazing sun that never dimmed, declared to all that the Luminary had found her match. Her parents came, eventually, diminished, ashamed, seeking forgiveness they didn't deserve. Mira gave them a place in her sanctuary, a chance to prove their love through action, but she didn't forgive easily. Some wounds needed time. And when the blood moon rose on the winter solstice, waking something ancient that fed on lies and illusions and false faces, Mira stood on the highest point of her sanctuary with the light keepers at her back, Xander beside her, and Rydian at her other side. "Let it come," she said, her light blazing brighter than any star. "I am the Luminary. I burn away every shadow, every deception, every lie, and I'm done letting darkness win." And so Mira's journey as the Luminary truly began. A journey from invisible to undeniable, from plain to radiant, from the sister who was told she was less, than to the wolf who proved she was more than anyone could imagine. She learned that true beauty had nothing to do with appearance and everything to do with authenticity. She discovered that being called plain was often just another way of saying she was too real, too true, too bright for those who lived in shadows. Her story became legend. Songs were sung about the Omega who became the Luminary, about the Beta heir who chose illusion and lost everything, about the Alpha King who roared mine and meant it with every fiber of his being. But more than legend, her story became hope. Hope for every wolf who'd been called plain or ordinary or less than. Hope for every person compared to a sibling and found wanting. Hope that being yourself, shining your light, revealing your truth was always more valuable than any illusion of perfection. What do you think happens when the darkness that feeds on lies finally faces the Luminary's truth? Would you have shown Damien and Celeste mercy or chosen differently? And if you could reveal one truth about yourself that you've been hiding, what would it be? If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and let me know in the comments what you'd want to see next. Should we explore the battle against the ancient darkness? Dive deeper into Mira's relationships with both Xander and Rydian? Maybe follow one of the other wolves who found sanctuary in the Luminary's light? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a chapter. There's so much more to discover, ancient powers, revealed truths, and the battles still to come. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being part of this journey. We'll see you in the next chapter.